Today we look at why America produces so many entrepreneurs and how does the tax code encourage entrepreneurs from a policy standpoint. Blake Christian is a tax partner with Holthouse Carlin Van Trigt. Blake, thanks for joining us, and you look much more relaxed today than last time.
Great to be here. Yeah, we just finished our last big tax filing deadline. So with COVID and everything else, it was nice to get that behind us.
What are some of the key measures of entrepreneurial activity in a country?
Well, they look to how many startups started up in a given year, and also from an intellectual property standpoint, which drives a lot of those new businesses, they look at the patent issuances during a given year.
How does the US compare to other countries in these terms?
Well, I was just looking at those stats, and China actually edges us out for volume of patents, and but we're a close second. And then, but from a business friendly standpoint, which is kind of more what I look at, the U.S. is much higher up than China.
Why is growth in entrepreneurs or entrepreneurial firms so important?
Well, it's really people think that big businesses are the driver for job growth and things, but really the statistics show that the small businesses are really the kind of the driver of the economy, new jobs, spending, etc. So to have a healthy economy, you really want to be stimulating those small businesses, which will eventually, some of them will grow into very large businesses.
What changes then have been really evident, maybe say in the last 5-10 years?
Well, every country's a little different, but tax law has a fair amount to do with that. Infrastructure, the education system, particularly the university system, and that's why the U.S. is so robust. When you look at business startups, by a wide margin, the United States is always the leader. You have 500 world-class universities, by international standards, that are research oriented, and the combination of that plus the pretty easy access to capital, venture capital, and reasonably moderate tax structure makes it a pretty fertile ground for entrepreneurs.
Which aspects of the US tax system favor, say, growth in entrepreneurial activity?
Again, you have a capital gain rate for which is lower at a maximum of 23.8% versus 37% for ordinary income, and so there's a benefit to investing money and getting a return in terms of appreciation on stock or intellectual property investment. So that'll draw money into it. And also on the flip side, if you lose money, there's capital loss you can claim against other capital gains. You can write off worthless bad debts if you loaned money to a startup company. And so all of those things combined make it an easier bet to invest in these companies, because the government effectively is paying for some of your loss if you do have a loser, and not every company is going to be successful in the long run.
Mm. What about the effects of state taxes? Are they significant?
They are, and it's not just the state income tax, but it's fees, it's all sorts, sales tax, all sorts of things can add up. And so we are seeing, and certainly COVID has highlighted the fact of where people are doing business. And so we're seeing a lot of, kind of musical chairs right now of businesses moving all or part of their operations from some of the higher tax states, which coincidentally are often states that are being, overly locked down and overly regulated. And so the combination of that plus the high taxes is driving, some people to move out of the state. Elon Musk is, moving a big chunk of his companies out of California because of that.
Yeah, I see that California, you often read about, and notably Los Angeles, that they're moving from California or LA, moving to Texas, a lot of moving to Texas. Which are the worst for taxes, for if you're an entrepreneur? And there were two that, or say three states that you said we must not go there, otherwise it becomes really, really quite difficult. And which of the couple that really shine that light says, come and visit us, come and set up business here?
Yeah, so on the negative side, California, New York, ironically, are usually at the bottom of the business-friendly and tax-friendly states. And I would say Texas and Nevada are probably, the high on most people's list to move to. Other states like Wyoming doesn't have an income tax.
It doesn't have any people.
Right. But those aren't really, where people are rushing to. Californians or people from New York are, still kind of wanting to be in a little more populous state.
Although with COVID and everybody just vacating these areas such as Los Angeles and New York, it sort of makes you wonder what's going to happen in the future. Speaking of the future, big election about to happen. The Biden-Harris ticket. Will their professed changes affect entrepreneurship?
Absolutely, and also, the Trump administration has attracted a lot of foreign investment into the United States by decreasing the corporate tax rate down to a pretty low 21%, which is competitive worldwide. And so if Biden bumps that tax rate back into the mid 30s, I think you're certainly going to see a slowdown of international investment into the United States. And you're also going to see, entrepreneurs, probably not, not being quite as active. Some of the capital will dry up and go to other places. It's pretty, you can invest worldwide pretty easily these days.
International, trade still may continue under Biden with Ukraine, but that's another story. What further policy action should be taken to further encourage entrepreneurial risk-taking, Blake?
Well, one of the big tax code provisions is the research and development credit, and that's on both the federal and most states also offer that. On a combined basis, it ends up being around 15% of your incremental research and development costs. It's really a labor-driven credit, and if you outsource your R&D, it's only 65% of those costs. But that's also a very attractive feature, and I could see if I could wave a magic wand, I'd probably increase that a little bit. We love the ability to expense tangible personal property, desk, chairs, machinery. You can, under U.S. law, you can deduct most of that in the year of acquisition, even if it's debt financed. So that's pretty powerful. You could put 20% down million piece of property. And if you have other debt to support your tax basis, you could write that full $1 million off in year one. So there's a lot of very good things in the tax code right now that may be taken away under a Biden administration.
Or under a Pelosi administration. We may sort of laugh at this, but what a terrible state the US would be in then.
Yeah, I think most people would feel that way, but there's a group that would applaud that. I may be coming over to stay with you for a while.
You'll be another political refugee. And by the way, you can fly here. It's just, unfortunately, the airfares are expensive and you have to go through about 10 different countries to get here, because we have this really big border too, this big wall just about around Australia. So unless you know somebody here, and by the way, I have no influence, so don't rely on me, you'll probably get locked up. I mean, good luck coming here, but you know, if you do look, we have a spare room. We have a spare room, and in fact, we could have, because the Gold Coast, by the way, is where we're broadcasting from. It's almost a mini America. We have Miami, Palm Beach, Mermaid Beach used to be called Los Angeles, so you'd feel pretty comfortable here too.
Well, I'm ready to go. One thing, if I could interject, is which we haven't touched on, is regulation, and regulation is just as important as taxes. So you want to pick a country or a state that has moderate, reasonable regulation, and that's a bigger and bigger issue these days, and should always be looked at by entrepreneurs.
Great chatting. Once again, your website is hcvt.com. I know that off by heart. They just go to the website and they can find you there. Is that right?
That's right. I appreciate always talking to you.
Blake Christian from Holthouse Carlin and Van Trigt at hcvt.com. Thank you very much.
Thank you.